Good morning, good morning. Welcome to Thriving Talks with Anthony. Today we're going to have insightful conversation. For those that are new to the channel, we make mental health conversations and content that's going to be beneficial to your personal development in addition to your well-being. However, in today's conversation, we're going to be talking about the role of self-awareness and personal growth, right? So this is Thriving Talks. Off the rip, I just want to say that personal development is really important and having self-awareness is very essential, right? I'm really going to be able to talk about this today because it's going to help you better understand, your emotions, your triggers, and even your behaviors, and laying out the foundation in regards to personal growth. It's going to be able to have that emotional intelligence in addition to having this, intentional living when we have, like I said, that self-awareness. So stick with me, grow with me, because this is something that's going to be able to change your life in the way that you're able to, as you're able to discover your identity and you're navigating through life's difficulties. So, let's dive into our first segment in regards to why self-awareness is the first step to personal growth. Right. So we got to take in consideration in our lives, a lot of things are going on. We're busy, right? So we often go through the motions without truly understanding what's really going on. Why do we feel the way we feel? And why do we even do the things that we do? So, when we're able to have better self-awareness, self-awareness is able to, like I said, provide those foundational tools and foundational, basics in regards to our personal growth. Once again, like I said, Thriving Talks, we talk about mental health and what personal growth, personal development, to be able to have have the skills and all the things that you need to be able to be who you want to be and where you need to go, right? So I'm helping you get to where you want to be because I want you to be the person that you want to be. You feel me? I'm not here to tell you this, tell you that. I want to be able to tell you positivity. You feel me? So I really want you to stick with me so you're able to grow with me through the process. So in regards to, like I said, understanding our thoughts, understanding our emotions, and understanding our behaviors, we're able to respond more intentionally when we have, better self-awareness, and this really changes our life inside and out in regards to, like I said, that self-awareness. So let's dive into our first segment in regards to what is self-awareness and why does it even matter, right? So self-awareness off the rip is the ability to observe your thoughts, your emotions, and your behaviors objectively. It helps you understand your patterns, why you react, and what motivates you, and where your even habits even coming from, right? So you're depicting what's your theories, what's really going on in your head. Why am I doing things that I'm doing? You're able to really understand where are these coming from, right? So without it, personal growth becomes guesswork. With it, growth becomes intentional. So you're able to really understand why I'm doing what I'm doing. I'm trying to navigate and get to where I need to be. And you have this self discovery, you have this self-awareness, and you're able to proactively move towards where you want to be because you know what's going on, right? In regards to your emotions, your behaviors, and your thoughts. So when it comes to research insights, people with higher self-awareness are more likely to exhibit, emotional intelligence, resilience, and stronger interpersonal skills. So these are people that know themselves. They know how to navigate. They know how to, when difficulty comes, they know how to navigate through that as well, right? They're emotionally intelligent, so they can be in a room with other people and really see what they got going on and be compassionate, put themselves in those people's shoes, and really make impact. So I really want all of us to have this and work on this skill and have this self-awareness, because I don't want you to be in a situation where you're being used, you're being manipulated, you're being taught from the floor up, because you're just in situations where you, even within yourself, your emotions, you're not really understanding what's going on. So by proactively spending time to work on your personal growth, your personal development, this is what we're doing. This is the channel. This is really, going to help you get to where you need to be. Self-awareness is really going to be able to help you in all aspects of your life. So I really want us to take this in consideration as research insights is, proving it. Moving to our next segment, we're going to be talking about the layers of self-awareness, internal versus the external, right? So key points off the rip, we're going to talk about internal self-awareness. So internal is, the inside, right? So understanding your values, keyword, your values, your emotions, and your internal triggers, what gets you ticked off, you know what I mean? And I really want you to understand it, because when people know what ticks you off, they're able to push your buttons, you know what I mean? Sometimes it's unconsciously and they don't recognize it, and sometimes it is intentional and they know what they're doing. You feel me? So if you know your triggers, you're able to monitor these things. You're able to, modify and change these things up and work on them. And before you know it, it's wraps, it's over with. Ain't nobody can play with you. But it's important for you to know your internal triggers, what gets you ticked off. Next is external, so outside of you. So understanding how others perceive you, your impact, your tone, your body language. So how you're able to, like I said, be in a room of people and what it looks like, how you move it outside of your body. You know what I mean? So really understanding, the way that you stand, the way that you sit, your posture, your tone, the way you're talking to somebody, right? Your impact, the way that you move, that type of thing, your energy and other senses. So really understanding, the self-awareness around you. Because like I said, internal and external, right? So I really want us to understand that both are essential. Internal helps you align your values, and external helps you prove those relationships and those social intelligence. So like I said, we really want to be able to have that because we really want to be able to understand ourselves, but at the same time to understand how we're making impact and, our energy when we're getting around other people. It's very good for our self-awareness. Next segment, we're going to be talking about common barriers to self-awareness. So, it can be difficult sometimes, but we can get through these barriers. In regards to the first key point, we're going to be talking about autopilot living. So going through daily routines without reflection. That's just, you just like, for instance, you're just driving a car, and it's on autopilot mode and it's just going. That's not the way you relatively want to be living life. You really want to be self-aware. You want to have that self-awareness, so you're able to know what's going on, feelings, etc. So you're able to reflect and make the proper improvements to, get where you need to be. The next is going to be emotional avoidance, which is suppressing emotions instead of examining them. So you're just being passive, you're just you're just putting them in the back pocket, and then you're not even taking the time to really evaluate them, which is taking a toll on your mental health. Let's be real. Next key point is going to be confirmation bias, which is only noticing evidence that supports what we already believe. Next is going to be defensiveness, so reacting rather than reflecting when receiving feedback. So off the rip, you're just pushing things aside. I ain't even trying to hear it. You ain't even trying to really look at yourself and look at the situation or even do like the actual reflecting. You're just being defensive, right? And I don't think this is proactive. It's not going to help you get where you need to be or even improve when you're not able to take that critical feedback. So it's sometimes we don't want to hear the things that we want to hear, but sometimes we need to hear the things we need to hear so we able to make those proper changes and those improvements. At the end of the day, like I said, life is not Candyland. Things do happen. We do fall down. We do make mistakes, And we're still able to improve. But we have to be able to be accountable and look at ourselves and really do the reflective work. Next segment, we're going to be talking about practical tools to build self-awareness. This is very important, and the growth happens when we make these intentional efforts in regards to application. So things that we learn, we got to really put it to work, and I'm not even playing. So off the rip, we're going to be talking about journaling for number one, reflecting on our daily experiences, our emotional reactions, and our patterns. Like I said, we're able to really write things down. You heard days. You feel me? Put in that work in regards to what's going on with you. You know what I mean? And once upon a time, I'm like, I ain't gonna write no diary. But listen, this is a journal. This is something that's gonna help you really understand what's going on in your mind, see the patterns, and understand what's going on with you. You feel me? This is going to be beneficial for you. You know what I mean? So at the end of the day, don't worry about what other people got going on. Get away from the noise, get away from the distractions, get away from the people that's going to sit there and be a pest to what's going on to you in regards to you improving, and really take the application, and you're going to be able to see things progress. I'm telling you, right? So for instance, a prompt could be, what triggered me today and why? And you're able to write that down and really express what's going on and really get all the energy out and don't suppress it. You're able to put it on that paper, and you also could come back maybe a week later, 2 weeks later, and really see what was going on to see if you were tripping or not. But like I said, you would never know if you never applied, the effort. So I really want to take into consideration, once again, journaling. Next is going to be mindfulness practice. So you really want to be able to slow down, observe your thoughts without judgment, and find, like I said, a quiet space that's conducive for you, whether you're near a lake, a pond, you're at the beach, you at a crib, and you're just on a yoga mat, you know what I mean? You're just somewhere quiet, nice little corner. I don't know, but find somewhere that's going to be peaceful enough for you to have this mindfulness and really do that reflective work. Next is going to be ask for feedback, right? So you really want to be able to get other people's perspectives, from trusted people that can be able to uncover, blind spots that you're not able to see, right? So definitely tap in with someone that you feel like you could trust, that, is going to keep it real with you, you know what I mean? So you're able to see, how you're moving, and, you're able to improve on that aspect as well. You know what I mean? Because sometimes we're in our own world, things can be cloudy, and we're moving and doing things that we can do, but we don't really see how we're, looking on the outside of ourselves. So I'm asking you to talk to someone so you're able to, get some of that feedback. Next is going to be able to be, track your emotional triggers, right? So you really want to be able to create, a trigger track if possible, really document, write these things down. We talk about journaling, but really be able to identify repeated emotions based off of the responses in these situations and how it's impacting you, right? This could be something that's getting you ticked off at work, something that's getting you ticked off in regards to your friends, something that's getting you ticked off with your family, but we're not going to be able to identify these things if we're not intentional, we're not writing these things down. Next thing is gonna be pause and reflect. You really want to be able to build the habit of, developing this patience in regards to yourself, asking yourself, why am I feeling this? Why and what is, this feeling, right? Before you just jump into to reacting. So I'm asking you to, like I said, pause, have that patience with yourself and really reflect and think before you react and respond. So, these things are very essential in calming yourself, understanding your triggers, understanding your emotions, and really applying some of these, strategies can really build that self-awareness. So once again, I'm asking you to make those applications. Next segment, we're going to be talking about self-awareness in action, right? So how it fuels the growth. So off rip, examples number one, I really want to be able to provide you with improved decision making, right? So you're less likely to act impulsively when you are understanding your emotions and what drives them, right? So like I said, self-awareness provides that better decision making. It also improves better relationships. So you're able to listen without reacting, and you can communicate more clearly, more respectively, right? So self-awareness helps you with those relationships as well. It also improves greater clarity with people in that purpose, right? So you're aligning your actions with your values, leads to more meaningful life for yourself and meaningful connections with other people as well. Good morning. Right? So you're able to have that better, purpose for yourself as well. So take that in consideration. Next is going to be increased accountability, right? Which is really big, because as you're navigating through life, you got to understand that, some situations that you put yourself into, you're able to still improve and get yourself out of them. But accountability overall, is owning up to your patterns, right? That help you change, them to more effective ones. So you're going to be able to have more self-awareness. You're going to be able to recognize that maybe I'm hanging out with this group of friends that's not really helping me get to my goal. Maybe that I'm doing something, I'm self-sabotaging even with my own thoughts. Maybe I'm not even doing enough journaling. Maybe I don't, I'm allowing my triggers to take over me. There's so many different things that's going on, like I said, in a fast-paced world, but allowing ourselves to have this self-awareness helps us to grow, helps us to improve, and overall helps various aspects of our thinking, in regards to that decision making that we discussed, relationship aspects, and just overall, as we're navigating with our own purpose. So like I said, this is going to be able to help us when we have that self-awareness. Studies show that self-awareness for individuals provide them to be more confident, better, at work, and even build those strong relationships. Like I said, self-awareness helps us as individuals in various aspects of our life, right? So wrapping this video up in regards to self-awareness, is a long life superpower. This is something that's really going to be able to help us, be the people that we need to be, help us really understand what's going on. And self-awareness isn't about, being perfect. It's about pausing, really understanding and have that reassurance, being calm, being compassionate to ourselves, noticing our patterns, learning from them. Like I said, making those conscientious choices, those are decisions that's going to be helping us be able to improve, right? We're not meant to be perfect. We're not meant to be stagnant, stuck and tore from the flow up. We're meant to just improve, learn our ways, understand ourselves. You know what I mean? So really take this in consideration that this is a life of journey, right? We're in an emotional journey of growth, right? We're able to build our healthy relationships and even, live life with more intention when we're more self-aware in regards to alive. So if you found this video beneficial, please give it a thumbs up, share if possible, comment if necessary, and I'll see you on the next one. Take it easy.